It's the very warmest of welcomes to you indeed to the 10th European Artistic Gymnastics Championships taking place at the Antalya Sports Hall in Turkey. The team and all-around finals have concluded. We have now just 2 days remaining, packed sessions of apparatus finals to come today and tomorrow. We bring you 5 today and then conclude our coverage of these European Championships tomorrow with the last medals to be awarded. This is what's coming up. The men's floor competition will get us started. We'll then go into alternating routines from the women's vault and men's pommel horse and the women's uneven bars and men's rings events. And all of that will be punctuated by the victory ceremonies. 5 of them, no less, because we have 5 gold medals that will be awarded today. The story of the competition so far has been success for Great Britain, Italy and the Netherlands in the women's team event, and further success for Great Britain in the women's all-around, with Jessica Gadirova winning her 2nd gold medal. We've had Zofia Kovac take the silver medal in the all-around competition and Alice D'Amato winning the bronze medal. In the men's event, as some of the gymnasts who will be seeing in action in later apparatus finals watch on. We've talked about the success for Great Britain. There some of them were. As I was saying, in the men's event, Italy winning team gold, Turkey winning the silver and Great Britain the bronze. And it was Turkey who took the gold in the men's all-around. Adam Asil over Great Britain's Jake Jarman and Ukraine's Ilya Kovtun. That is the story so far, but many more narratives to be written as we get the apparatus finals underway. The men's floor exercise will be first up, and it's a privilege to have your company wherever in the world you're watching the action from. Thank you so much for joining. Whether you're watching from within the continent of Europe or further afield or much further afield, and whatever time of day or night it is, thanks for your company. My name is Ollie Hogben, and I am continuing to guide you through these championships. And what an enjoyable championships it's been. Great drama in the women's all-around final, a super competition. Literally went down to the last tumbling pass of the last floor routine. The men's all-around was a little more clear-cut. That was a pretty commanding win for Adam Asil. Will there be more success today for Turkey? The contenders for men's floor gold at the European Championship. The top qualifier goes 2nd in the order. It's Harry Hepworth, a new name from Great Britain. Very difficult to routine as well. The 2nd strongest in qualification, the reigning Olympic champion Artem Dolgopiat of Israel. He will go 2nd to last in this final. We've got to keep an eye out on those from lower down the order as well, with rather substantial difficulty. People like Luke Whitehouse of Great Britain. And it'll be interesting to see if the impressive Noah Seifert from Switzerland, who had a very well executed routine in qualification, if he can maintain that standard going into this final, because he's not defending a huge difficulty score after all. But what he does have is rather stylish execution. He's a very impressive young gymnast.
We're going to start with the floor exercise with the man. I'm going to announce that, please.
One of the great joys of apparatus finals is there's a little more time to scrutinise the routines in detail, to look at the minutiae.
Ilya Kovtun, Ukraine.
So first up in the men's floor final, we'll have the all-around bronze medalist, Ukraine's Ilya Kovtun. He was the 8th strongest in qualification, but he's got much better execution. We know that. A real surprise package. Harry Hepworth of Great Britain, top qualifier, not part of the British team that took the silver medal, or the bronze medal I should say, but an individual. Milan Hosseini of Germany, 4th best in qualification. He's the German national champion on floor with good reason. Very nice gymnast on this apparatus. And here's another reigning national champion, Great Britain's Luke Whitehouse, 7th best in qualification, but with the highest difficulty score of anyone. And you'll see why when his opening tumbling pass takes place. The Swiss gymnast Noah Seifert, 3rd best in qualification. He was 5th in the all-around event as well. Gymnast who was 4th on floor at the World Championships, Benjamin Osberger. And the Olympic champion on floor, Artem Dolgopiat of Israel. And he's also the reigning European champion. And we have Lucas Desange of France, the 6th best in qualification. 20-year-old is in his senior European Championship debut. Congratulations to him for getting into this really strong field for the final. And so there they are. The gymnasts that will contest the first apparatus title at the 2023 European Championships of Artistic Gymnastics. Fans of all ages here to enjoy it. It's been a very successful competition from the perspective of a host nation that has not found things easy of late for well-documented reasons. And they've done so well to host these championships. And I think at this stage as well, it's always important to say a huge a huge thank you to all of the volunteers that have worked so hard to make these championships a success. Many of them were also involved in the Artistic Gymnastics Junior World Championships that took place in this city, but a different arena, a couple of weeks ago. So a lot of them have been away from home for a month, volunteering, giving their time tirelessly for this competition, the competition before it. So thank you, all of you volunteers. You've made these championships a great success.
Warm up for the first 4 athletes of the men's floor exercise. Ilya Koftun, Harry Hapworth, Milan Hosseini, and Luke Whitehouse. One gymnast from Ukraine, one from
So the warm-up time for the first 4 gymnasts. We'll have in the first half of this competition Ilya Koftun, Harry Hepworth, Milan Hosseini and Luke Whitehouse. So the top qualifier and the gymnasts who qualified 4th, 7th and 8th. So it is a slightly skewed competition in the sense that in the second half of this we're going to see the 2nd and 3rd qualifiers. So we're really going to be quite unclear on the destination of the medals until the very end of things, which is how we like it. More dramatic, the better. His job will be done early. The top qualifier, Harry Hepworth. Pity time for the coaching team of Ilya Koftun. He's always at the heart of any competition he enters. And he's always involved in so many finals. Now, are the Swiss going to get themselves onto the podium? So it is time to begin the first apparatus final. Welcome to Antalya 2023. Welcome back to Ilya Koftun, the bronze medalist in the all-around competition. He's still only 19, believe it or not. He mounted a sensational comeback in the all-around, and he gets his apparatus quest underway here. 8th best in qualification, a score of 14.066. He's got a series of massive tumbling passes before his strength elements, and that's a very secure opening. Coming nicely out of the pike position, looking tidier so far than in the preliminary rounds. Little sideways hop, but nothing too big. Just a fraction low there, and a little shake of the head from Cofton indicates that that wasn't quite as it was meant to be. It's a very interesting construction of the routine, isn't it? He's got so much to do before he gets into this flare sequence. Oh, it's a nice way to finish. Ilya Cofton of Ukraine, some very tidy tumbling, but evidently one problem in the penultimate tumbling pass for the 19-year-old, and it'll be most interesting to see the impact that has on his overall score as the next gymnast, Harry Hepworth, the top qualifier, gets ready to compete. So we look back at Ilya Cofton. The only gymnast from Ukraine to win the European title in the men's floor is Igor Korobczynski in 1992 in Budapest. And it's interesting, isn't it, as we see him here, and I'm reminded of his work in this floor final. We think back to this country in 2020 in Mersin at the Junior European Championships, where he was an absolute revelation, and so quickly he emerged as a star senior as well. 13.733, and as expected, he's lost a little difficulty from qualification, down by around about 3/10. Harry Hepworth of Great Britain, top performer in qualification.
Great Britain with Harry Hepworth.
The 19-year-old from Cookridge in the northwest suburbs of Leeds. Remarkable story that this gymnast has, and what a powerful beginning too. He has been a World Challenge Cup champion on floor. And he produced a 6.3 difficulty in qualification. He's got massive agility as he goes from the twist into a very tight tuck position. It's physically such a quick switch to make, and did well to stabilise the landing with that little back step. Well, this is really enjoyable work from the teenager from Great Britain. Very well done from Harry Hepworth of Great Britain. 14.6 in qualification. He has made unbelievable progress in the last 12 months. Even within Great Britain, people have been so surprised at just how good he has become in such a short space of time. It's a real acceleration from this hard-working young athlete. He actually started the sport when a gymnast came to his primary school and showed how to do a backflip. And Hepworth was diagnosed with a hip disorder when he was very young, about 5 years old. He didn't do any sport for about 3 years until he saw that crucial gymnastics demonstration. He's also combated a double fracture of the spine back in 2018, so he has grafted. And he's shown enormous resolve. All of you gymnasts out there who go into schools and do these demonstrations, I'm sure you know just what an impact it can have, and Harry Hepworth is a shining example of it.
is the score to beat for Yakov 2. First target score of this final.
14.2 for Harry Hepworth, so he's got higher difficulty than qualification, but his execution is down, leading to a drop of 4/10, which seems to have taken him by surprise. Now to Milan Hosseini of Germany. Fourth best in the preliminary round with 14.266. He's the German champion on floor, the 21-year-old, at his first European Championships. Interesting, he starts with that lovely Randy down the side, and I think that, if my memory serves me correctly, was landed a little better than in qualification. Oh, yes, that's lovely. Oh, a little jarred landing and bounce up off the floor there for Hosseini could be somewhat costly. Doesn't he have a sense of grace? Just giving away some tenths here and there on landings. Oh, that's beautiful twisting to conclude his routine. Very nice. What a lovely addition to the Senior European Championships, Milan Hosseini. He was the reserve for the German team at the last World Championships. He's a young man who's had to overcome persistent, complex trouble with his shoulders. Had a really painful surgery process to fix it. But he's got a couple of really enjoyable tumbling passes in this routine, particularly the start. That lovely Randy down the side, rather than opening with a diagonal tumbling line, and then the 2.5 to front layout to front double full that was particularly delightful in qualification. Now, if he produces what he did in qualification, then he'll go into the lead. Just one wonders about that really difficult bounce that he had. But he is in the gold medal position, 14.2, Milan Hosseini. Level with Hepworth, but significantly up on the execution. 0.5 down on difficulty, 0.5 up on execution, so he leads in the tiebreak. Now here is a gymnast with sizable difficulty. Luke Whitehouse of Great Britain, the 20-year-old from Halifax in the north of England. Now, get ready for the opening tumbling pass. Massive! Oh, yes! Triple back. First British man to do it. Can he keep it going? He had the highest difficulty in qualification, but his execution, the lowest of all the qualifiers. This is looking much improved. Just slightly goes in installments, producing that handstand. But boy, is he hitting those landings today. What an assured performance as Luke Whitehouse breaks into a small smile after some big tumbling. Biggest competition he's ever participated in as a senior. And he's already won a team bronze medal. But that was excellent from the reigning British and English floor champion. He had a wonderful moment at the English Championships recently where he actually beat his childhood hero, Max Whitlock, into the silver medal position in the parallel bars competition. He's made some World Cup floor finals over the years. But this is a showpiece moment. Triple back to open his routine. That's what I mentioned, just the slight faltering going into the handstand. It's not a lot. Now his execution, as I said, 7.7 in qualification with a 0.1 penalty for going out of bounds as well. Where's he going to be here when the score comes in? It's got to be higher. Oh, that's a lot higher. 14.9 for Luke Whitehouse and 8.4 execution. That is a massive score that is going to be very hard to beat. Luke Whitehouse in the lead at the halfway mark. 7/10 ahead of Milan Hosseini. Welcome to the European Championships, Luke Whitehouse. Now, we're just seeing there on the big screen that Milan Hosseini has submitted an inquiry, and one presumes that's because he's been given a 5.9 for difficulty, where he had a 6.0 in qualification, so he's obviously gone in search of that extra 10. This next performance will be interesting. Noah Seifert of Switzerland comes into this as the third strongest qualifier with extremely high execution. The best that we saw in qualification, 8.6, but only a 5.7 for difficulty. So the question really is whether he can maintain that high execution. And it will come down to things like little landing hops here and there. And unfortunately, it'll come down to more than that now. He was extremely good in the all-around competition. Finished in 5th place. Well, it was a case of not quite today for Noah Seifert as he looks up into the rafters of the Antalya Sports Hall. He was so competitive for the duration of the all-around competition. Did very well to get into the top 5. Second consecutive European Championships where he's placed 5th. Sometimes that real exertion of energy can lead to a trickier first day of apparatus finals. You think about Hepworth, Hosseini and Whitehouse, they all didn't participate in the all-around competition.
Interesting to know, Noah Seifert had the third best.
Just didn't get it rotated round quickly enough. .14.3 the qualification score for Noah Seifert. And it is 12.8 on this occasion. So still, Whitehouse leads. Benjamin Osberger of France. The 21-year-old who's recently recovered from a little injury trouble that's prevented him from doing his normal training on floor. So it's terrific that he's qualified in 5th place for this final with 14.133. Very elegant on floor. He had the lowest difficulty of any qualifier, but his execution was high, and you can see why. Came into that landing a little low, did well to stabilise it. Very quick in his Wenderschwings. Had quite a big diagonal back step to hold that landing, but much of Benjamin Osberger's landings were really good. It will be an interesting comparison to make to qualification, where his execution score was 8.533. He had a little bounce back on his second pass in the preliminary round. In terms of his difficulty, what we're really looking at here is whether he challenges Milan Hosseini, with Whitehouse sitting very high up on 14.9. That feels possibly a little out of reach. But a gymnast like Osberger, with his crispness, is absolutely capable of pushing his way into a medal position if others give away some tenths here and there. He's had a fair few 4th place finishes lately. He's been looking to upgrade his difficulty on things like pommel horse. Naturally, his focus cannot have been so extensively on floor due to those injury issues. .14.133 in qualification, 14.2 currently holds second and third place, albeit with Hosseini having an inquiry in progress. And he's not quite there. 13.8 for Osberger. To the Olympic champion, Artem Dolgopiat of Israel. The first ever artistic gymnast from Israel to win a gold medal at the Olympic Games. He's also the reigning European champion on floor. He's won the title twice. He's scored 14.366 in qualification. Withdrew from the all-around as the 16th best qualifier. And a real marker and challenge has been thrown down by Luke Whitehouse with that 14.9. But Dolgopiat is capable of enormous scores. And he is one of those gymnasts who knows how to turn up for a final and raise the game. There's an example of it. And then he just bounds into some very gentle, elegant looking work. Oh, this is outrageous. Well, that didn't look like the same gymnast and the same routine that we saw in qualification, which is why the Israeli fans are so thrilled. The reigning Olympic and European champion. He won his first European title in Mersin in 2020 in a different part of Turkey. Well, the track record of Israel in men's floor is just so good. Going back to Alexander Shatilov, getting onto the podium back, I think, in 2009 for the first time. And Shatilov was still there in 2017. Then Dolgopiat took the baton, and he has been on 4 of the last 5 European Championship floor podia. So it's a huge surprise if you don't have a man from Israel winning a medal in a European floor final. Now let us see how this compares. Whitehouse in the lead on 14.9. Dolgopiat in qualification 14.366. But how often we've seen Dolgopiat produce something far beyond his qualification performance in the final. It certainly was better than qualifying, it's just how much better. Second place, 14.666. Artem Dolgopiat goes into the silver medal position, and that guarantees at least a silver medal for Luke Whitehouse and at least a bronze for Artem Dolgopiat. And it means that Luke Whitehouse of Great Britain has just bested the Olympic champion. France's Luca Desange, the last to compete. He was the 6th best in qualification. Now, certainly, he is a threat for bronze here. Regrettably, he's gone out of bounds, which he didn't do in qualification, but his score was 14.1. And I just remind you that 14.2 is holding bronze. He's only 20. the young man from Rouen on the River Seine in the north of France. And so the floor final draws to a close at the European Championships. Lucas Desange has done well to qualify for this in 6th position. At the moment, Milan Hosseini, who was just on the left there, is in bronze medal position with 14.2. Artem Dolgopiat above on 14.666. Luke Whitehouse in the lead on 14.9. And a look back at the work of Lucas Desange in his senior European Championship debut. He is one of those athletes who came into the sport of gymnastics in that most stereotypical of ways, as a toddler who climbed on and jumped off absolutely everything around the house until his rather anxious parents said, okay, enough's enough, we need to teach you how to do this properly, let's take you to a gymnastics club. And he's been working very hard domestically at his pommel horse and still rings routines to try to bolster his all-around programme. He's been historically best on floor and the horizontal bar. Got some nice work on the parallel bars as well. He won a bronze medal at the National Championships last year. So we hope to see more of him. 13.366 for Lucas Desange. It means that we can confirm the gold medal has been won by a British man for the 4th time at the European Championships, following in the footsteps of his childhood hero Max Whitlock, Christian Thomas, Dominic Cunningham. It is Luke Whitehouse who has beaten the Olympic champion into 2nd place. Artem Dolgopiat of Israel takes silver, and well done to Milan Hosseini, the bronze medalist. He came in as the 4th best in qualification, and the German floor champion has just won his biggest ever medal. The classified results in the men's floor competition: bronze to Milan Hosseini of Germany, silver to Artem Dolgopiat of Israel, and the European Championship title won by Great Britain's Luke Whitehouse. We'll go straight into the victory ceremony. But first, let's remind ourselves of how the medals were won. speedily into the victory ceremony for this men's floor competition.
Now it's time for the men's floor exercise award ceremony.
The victory ceremony for the men's floor competition at the 10th European Artistic Gymnastics Championships taking place in Antalya, Turkey. A first ever European Championship medal for Milan Hosseini of Germany. The national champion on floor has just created an international profile for himself. Frankly, it wouldn't be a European Championship floor final without this man on the podium, Artem Dolgopy out of Israel. The Olympic champion takes second place, but on this occasion he's been beaten, and beaten by a youngster, Great Britain's Luke Whitehouse. Back in 2020, he used to deliver his local magazine for a little extra spending money. Now they're writing features about him, and the world is writing features about him, because Luke Whitehouse has just announced himself as a serious contender on floor. A 14.9 score. He joins great names from Great Britain. Max Whitlock, his childhood hero. Christian Thomas, Dom Cunningham. These are big, big names, and he's among them.